Are changes finally coming to the Chicago Bulls? We have had multiple reports over the weekend that the next 10 days, major changes could be happening in both the front office and with the head coach. We're going to talk about it all the more in today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network in the entirety of the world. I'm joined, as I am every day, by Pat the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Pat, man, a lot of news this weekend, bro. I almost hit you up yesterday before I realized it was Easter to say, hey, we probably need to do an episode on this. But, you know, Joe Cowley, who's been on top of all of this, reported that changes could be coming to the front office, that ownership is, taking, more notice of what's going on around the Chicago Bulls, and even gave a time frame, said that the next 10 days could be some considerable changes happening in the front office. We're going to end this episode talking about possible candidates to replace AK and Eversley and Billy Donovan if that were to happen. But how do you feel about the news that ownership, Michael, Jerry, finally taking notice of, hey, this is probably a shit show over here in Chicago. We probably should do something about it.
I mean, listen, the Bulls don't care about losing, right? They don't care about, they're still at the top of everything that is as far as attendance. They're still one of the top destinations for fans that to enjoy a ball game and stuff like that. They get high ratings for everything they do at the games. They don't care about how many games they lose because the tickets are being sold, is the bottom line of all that. They do care about being nationally embarrassed. And I think the Jaden Ivey situation opened a can of worms that made the national people around the NBA just basically have a field day for 10 days and go, yeah, this Ivy thing is bad, but also look at this. Look at this. How do you make this decision? This sucks. Why are they doing this? Who's running the show over here? Mark Eversley's a person? Like, there is so many things that I have seen from me. I mean, bro, like, why am I blanking on his name? Bill, that does the Celtics podcast.
Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons. I kept going Bill O'Brien for some reason. Still like
not Bill O'Brien.
I was going Bill O'Brien. I was like, that is not right. Bill Simmons, I mean, literally probably the last 2 weeks has talked about the Bulls on 6 or 7 of his podcasts because of how bad the Bulls are running this organization. That affects the Reinsdorf. And when you made a trade that got you absolutely nothing, and that opens the can of worms that was the Jaden Ivey situation, a situation that you didn't have to be a part of. Yeah, that's going to get you a serious look at. I don't know if it's going to guarantee you get fired, but now you're doing something that affects the pockets of the Reinsdorfs. Now you're doing something that affects the public perception nationally of the Reinsdorfs. They love to lay low and just have, Chicago be mad at them. When the world is mad at them, that's when they kind of start to get a little, okay, we need to make some changes. And remember, the last time that this happened, when the entire world was paying attention to what was going on with the Bulls, was when the All-Star game was here. And everybody was just like, how the heck did they got an All-Star game and they suck so bad?
Well, that and Jerry Krause thing. The Boo and Jerry Krause widow got national attention. No, that's after that.
Boo and Jerry Krause. Well, yeah, you talking about national attention? Yeah.
I'm just talking about national attention. That definitely got national attention. That was wild.
Hey, you see they ain't televised one of them Ring of Honors yet.
We haven't had another one since then. The next one is coming up this season. We haven't had another Ring of Honor since then. Remember, it's every other year. Ring of Honors every other year.
Oh, it's every other year. Okay.
Yeah. But Yeah, I mean, listen, it's sometimes, and even nationally, the Bulls aren't really being killed for the Jaden Ivey situation. Like nationally, like of course, like Simmons has been killing the Bulls for weeks at this point, like you pointed out. But like the way that it's covered in like national media, they're not really killing the Bulls for it. But it's just the fact that there's so many eyes on anything to do with the Bulls. As an owner, you have to perk up and be like, what's going on over there? Like what's happening over there? Now, I want to be clear here. This could all result in AK staying in power, and they could look. Joe Kelly had an article earlier that the fingers need to be pointed. And I don't know how it's going to work out, right? But I could see between Billy Donovan choosing to walk away and maybe Eversley's made the fall guy. AK lives to fight another day. Should he? Probably not. Like, so I did some research on this because I knew people were going to come in and be like, well, he shouldn't have been here for 6 years. So I think people forget that AK isn't the GM. He's the president of basketball.
He's the president.
Pat, do you want to guess the average length of a president of basketball operations league-wide? Not just, we know the Chicago Bulls is 12 to 15 years. I mean, you've talked about that multiple times.
Yeah.
But league-wide, do you know how long the average president of basketball operations is in power?
I'd probably say 6 because I would think you get your first build the roster, figure it out. Usually there's some draft that is involved in there. So you got to see some of that through. If it fails, usually within 2 to 3 years, you get a second shot at it. You usually don't get a third bite at the apple. So maybe a little shocking that AK got a third bite to try and trade pieces away. But I'd probably say 6 years.
So that's closer to GM time length. Presidents of basketball operations league-wide, 8 to 10 years. 8 to 10 years is usually when the president is how long they stay in power. Because, again, the president is running – Some structures are different. Some people hold the president and GM role. Some people don't have that breaking out. So that kind of messes up the numbers a little bit. But for presidents of basketball operations, 8 to 10 years. So the Bulls aren't doing something that's completely different than what the league is doing. If they were to fire AK and him being in power 6 years, it's not completely different. But it's just good that somebody's starting to notice because, Pat, I mean, me and you have been covering this team every day basically since AK has taken this team over. And it's just like the missing on the top 4 pick, already a fireable offense, but it was his first pick, so you can understand it's not. Passing on Walker Kessler when that's what you needed in Dalen Terry. The Lonzo Ball signings, not that not working. You got 70 games out of that. Like, we could talk about the fireable offenses. There's been a multitude of them. So,
passing up on basically 10 first-round picks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, bro. Like when you look at it, like AK, on top of trading multiple first-round picks in the Vooch trade and giving up one in the DeMar DeRozan trade that luckily we got back, otherwise we wouldn't have the one last year. Like, AK is missed on every first-round pick other than Modest Buzelis, and we'll throw a question mark on Noah Essengay right now because he just hasn't played yet. But every first-round pick, Dalen, miss. Patrick Williams, a miss. Like, they've all been misses other than Modest Buzelis up until this point.
And the difference is, it's him. You know what I mean? You know that, like, as far as fireable offenses go, for AK, he's the decision maker. He's the one that we know it's not Billy's decision. Billy wanted the other guys. Billy wanted Derek Queen. Billy wanted Walker Kessler. Billy, like he wanted the guys that were going to help the team win. AK was like, but there's potential though. Well, potentially, none of the potential you've seen has been realized. You're swinging from the fences. You can't even hit a single.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, where I look at this AK era as, I mean, bro, I've said it on the show multiple times at this point, like, where's Garpax? I would rather watch that for the next 10 years than watch AK continue to run this team.
Gar, I'm good on. Pax, get Pax back the GM role, bro. Like, that's what Pax was the best at, too.
Listen, as much as we had question marks on Garpax, I'm not going to say that he was good at all. Paul Zipser, who we're high on.
I mean, he did draft Marquise Teague. He did draft Denzel Valentine. He did draft Chandler Hutchinson. Like,
No,
Gar has just as many misses as what AK does.
He sucks 100%. But in that time, there is the Jimmy Butler era where it's like, okay, like
that was his one good pick.
That was his one good. You know what I mean? Like, there is the Jimmy Butler era. Like, there is these, like, he got decent enough at finding solid role players, right? You want to throw a Daniel Gafford in there too, if we want to have that conversation, right? Like, you found these solid role players that you were like, okay, like, But maybe find something a little bit better.
A Pax pick, or was that a guard pick?
Pax stopped being the GM in 11, right? Right after Derek.
So
right after Derek won MVP.
Okay. Well, I think that sounds about right. So
12 on is guard. So
okay.
you talking Jimmy?
So then Taj too. We gotta give him Taj too.
You talking Taj? You're talking
no. Taj was drafted in 2009, so he would have been a Pax pick.
That's probably still a Pax pick.
That's probably Pax's last first round pick.
More than likely, yeah. But like you look at the bottom line is AK hasn't hit enough for you to say anything about his draft. As much as I like Modest, I can't say Modest is a hit yet. He just got to the point where he was averaging 20 points a game on a losing team. How many players we seen do that?
Yeah, like, but it's more
when you get the
it's
shots.
Not about the points per game average. I think Modest, you could say Modest is probably going to be a career NBA starter, and that's more than what you can say about any of AK's and other first round picks up into this.
Sure, I think we've seen the Modest at the end of the year. His highs have been high. The lows still been low. You gotta close that gap before I'm like, yeah, that's an easy hit. Now, can he be a starter? Sure, I agree with that. I think he's an NBA starter for sure. And if we're just classifying that as a hit, fine. But like, technically, Patrick Williams was a starter a long time.
Technically, he wasn't, Pat. He started his first season. By halfway through his second year, he was benched. Now, part of that was because of injury.
Hey, bro, that's a lot of games. That's a lot of games for what we got out of Patrick Williams.
Yeah, listen, there's more than what we're getting out of Patrick Williams now. But we're gonna continue the conversation. We gotta talk about Billy Donovan because apparently the University of North Carolina is now zeroing in on just Billy Donovan in their head coaching service. We'll talk about that right after this.
Why is this not working?
But before we get into that, we got to get the message from one of our sponsors, and that is Quo. Spring is a natural reset point. And if there's one thing that can quietly cost businesses money, it's messy communication. Missed calls, scattered texts, and no clear thread of who said what. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2 with over 3,000 reviews, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses. It lets your entire team share one business number so you never miss a call, text, or opportunity. The part I love the most, everything lives in one clear thread. Calls, text, and voicemails. The whole team sees the conversation so nothing falls through the cracks. And the AI summary saves serious time by logging calls and highlighting the next steps automatically. It just makes your business feel more organized and responsive. Make this season the season where no opportunity gets missed and no customer slips away. Try Quo free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedonnba. That's quo.com/lockedonnba. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. With that said, my brother, the rumors don't stop there because it came out late last night. Well, probably towards the middle of the evening last night from USA Today that UNC is now focusing solely on Billy Donovan and that they said that an update could be coming within 24 hours. Now, I don't know if I believe that because the Bulls season doesn't end until Sunday. I can't imagine them announcing that he's moving to UNC with 4 games left, and then that way every pregame and every postgame conversation is about him going to UNC. I just don't imagine that happening, at least being announced, even if maybe it happens behind the scenes. So I take a little – I raise questions to that part of the report. What do you think about hearing that UNC is now focusing solely on Billy Donovan potentially?
I wouldn't be surprised by it. I mean, listen, at this point, we know kind of where the Billy conversation is. It doesn't provide leverage one way or the other. If UNC and Billy come to an agreement, the only thing that would change is the Bulls would have to figure out right how compensation will work because Billy just signed an extension last off season.
I believe it was the off season before last, right?
2 off seasons ago. Either way, So you would have to figure out that part with him parting because essentially he would be leaving your job for another job. But if UNC gets him, like I wouldn't be shocked by it at all. Bottom line of it all, I would think it would be the ultimate signal for clean house. And it might be like as funny as it is, right? That and I tweeted this out yesterday, and clearly you can see the people that watch our show and the people that don't. I was like, Billy's going to be the savior of the Chicago Bulls. And everybody was like, how's Billy going to save anything? He does the development. Muzz went into this whole tangent on like how Billy's not a good coach. He don't develop nobody. And I was just like, this has nothing to do with any of that. It's just the fact
because
that
he brought like if Billy Donovan, who by all accounts, the Reinsdorfs respect, trust, and have a love for, even if Billy does say, hey, I'm going to go take this job at UNC, but AK over here effing up, the Reinsdorfs are probably looking at it and saying, we respect Billy. But what's going on over there? Oh, and also the national media is on us because of Jaden Ivey, this kid that we traded for with a bum knee. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I think it comes down to the fact that Billy's the good old boy in the building. Billy's the young man that enjoys a good soup with Jerry on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, they love Billy Donovan in that building. There is no question about it. If he's going out and saying, I can't be here even though I love it here, I enjoy the city, I enjoy the ownership, I enjoy the people that I'm working with, I can't be here because I don't see eye to eye with AK and I think that he is running this team into the ground, but they're going to change some things. And so to me, like I look at the UNC job as I think that it could be something that is done pretty quickly here. Bulls' last game is Thursday, I believe, this week.
Yeah,
Thursday is the final game of the season.
No, Sunday's the final game of the season.
Is Sunday the final game of the season?
Okay. Yeah, we play Monday, something like that.
By Monday, for sure, we will have just about all the answers that I think we'll need on this team.
I mean, listen, between Joe Cowley saying 10 days for front office decision and major changes, now UNC wants to make a decision within 24 hours. That was yesterday. Hey, Pat, not only has the roster completely overhauled, we could be like this offseason is going to be a fun one, not only to cover from a content perspective point, but because we don't get change like we talked about it. Like usually a president stays in the job here 15 years for the Chicago Bulls. This would be AK not even making it to a decade. He'd be the first Bulls president to not make it at least a decade at the role. That and me and you both cover the Bears. The McCaskies, when they finally realize we have to do stuff different, we have to trust the football people to make the football decisions. We're actually going to spend money on a coaching staff. We're going to go after one of the most heralded, offensive coordinators and head coaching candidates. We're going to pay him like a top coach right away. We're going to let Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren actually make decisions and step back. Kevin Warren even being hired outside of the Bears family was a huge move. Once the Bears finally committed to doing things differently than how they did them before, we started seeing progress toward the success, which all culminated in us finally getting over the hump, having a winning season last year, and hopefully we're going to keep it going forward. Maybe this is the catalyst of the change that the Bulls have needed to make the same changes that the Bears made.
Oh, listen, 100%. You gotta go all in. I think it's why when we talk about the replacements that have been mentioned, like I'm locked into getting some of the top names that are out there. But the question is, are the Reinsdorfs? The other reason, though. And I had to look this up to be sure, but I was pretty sure it was right now. The portal opens tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you have to know. So when this article dropped, when did they drop that?
Yesterday, probably around like 4 or 5-ish, I believe.
I would expect that you're going to know something on Billy Donovan's future, whether it's with UNC or not today, because they need to be able to tell transfers, the first wave of transfers, Billy Donovan's coming to UNC. You want to be here. Like, don't sign yet. Wait, Billy Donovan's coming to UNC. You're going to want to be around for this because, he's still, I believe, the third highest winning percentage in college basketball.
Doesn't surprise me. He's a Hall of Fame college coach for a reason. I mean.
So it changes a lot if you're for the transfer portal, if you're saying Billy Donovan's coming. Like, all of a sudden, college kids are going to be like, oh, well, I could be at UNC and be with one of the best college coaches of all time. Yeah, I'll sign up for that. I'll be there.
I don't know there, but I mean, what happens with that one? I'm sure. So I mean, hey, I mean, everything isn't even the thing that I had even coincided that with the 24-hour timeline. So it does make sense that it would be such an interesting thing to see how the last week of the season's handled if they announced today, which the Bulls don't play today, right? Like, I don't think we play today. If they announced today that Billy Donovan is indeed leaving for UNC, and then he still has to head coach 4 games, would you just let him go ahead and walk away and just let an interim coach step in for that amount of time?
You let him finish the 4 games out. I mean, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the 4 games is going to happen and we're going to be like, oh, God, wait a minute. We had a chance to keep Billy. Like, no, like nothing's going to change for the Bulls here if you end up finding out Billy Donovan is leaving. It only affects UNC. It's not going to affect the draft. It's not going to affect the offseason. It's not like you're waiting in the wings for this elite free agent to come here. And Billy Donovan is the answer on whether he comes here or not. Like, the Bulls have no leverage in this situation at all. If I'm Billy Donovan, I'm 100% like, put the word out. I'm out of here.
Put the word out. We back up.
But hey, man, a lot more to get into on today's episode because we got to talk about some of the big names that could be replacements for Billy Donovan here moving forward. We'll talk about that coming up next. There it is. But first, I got to tell you guys all about FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here where every possession matters, every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. And here's what I like about it. You can bet just $5 and get $250 back in bonus bets if your first bet wins. The app makes it easy to follow the action with player stats, trends, and matchups all in one place. And during the playoffs, that extra insight really matters when you're looking at star role players and key moments. It just makes the entire playoffs experience more engaging from start to finish. So head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel. Play your game. We also got to tell you guys all about TurboTax. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, Pat, before we get up out of here today, we got to talk about who could replace people, right? So in the article in which it mentions that AK and Eversley's time with the Bulls could end, they mentioned that Bob Myers and Mike Dunleavy Jr. are two people that could be being eyed as candidates to replace AK in the president role. So one I like and one brings about a concern that I did talk to you about, Pat. I don't know if I said it on the podcast or not. So Bob Myers, solid. He had, go over his hits and misses. He's had tons of misses as a GM, more towards the later half, drafting Wiseman, the Jordan Poole extension, not drafting Tyrese Halliburton, not drafting, a number of players that he missed on that he could have absolutely had that team still in being a championship contender status. But he built a dynasty. And that is going to be something that I think a lot of Bulls fans, seeing the success that he had building the Golden State Warriors, going to look and say, hey, maybe he can bring that here. I don't mind the Bob Myers. It makes sense. He's decorated. He's been one of the best GMs of the last decade and a half in the NBA. It is what it is. The guy that took over him in Mike Dunleavy Jr., the reason why, Pat, that brings about a level of concern for me personally, as I told you, I'm worried that Reinsdorf, who hired outside of the family when he hired AK, something he almost never does, would just be like, nah, I got to hire somebody in the family. Mike Dunleavy Jr., a former Chicago Bull, those type of things. I just worry that would be Reinsdorf not doing something different a little bit. But how do you feel about those two candidates being the names that have been mentioned so far to replace AK?
Listen, if the downside for Bob Myers is by the time his tenure leaves, we're left with 4 rings and, a team that's maybe in a little bit of limbo, we're doing all right. Like I when I heard Bob Myers, I was like, do whatever you got to do to get him in the building.
That's the same thing I said, bro.
It's if the criticisms of Bob Myers are, he didn't draft the 30th pick well. If the criticism,
it was the number 2 overall pick, but.
Well, no, I'm saying with the James Wiseman situation. Listen, James Wiseman was the best college player in that draft. He didn't turn into the best pro, but there wasn't really a question that he was the best college player in that draft.
I don't have that. I have to go look at it.
Number 1 is Anthony Edwards. So maybe, I guess, second best if you want to say that. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't James Wiseman coming off a national championship where he was a double-double? Like, Wiseman was hooping in college.
Oh, bro. He was in a draft. Yeah, but was he better than Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball?
LaMelo Ball wasn't in college. LaMelo Ball had went overseas, and the concerns on LaMelo Ball were massive coming in, whether he was going to be, I guess, for lack of a better word, mature enough to go out there and actually lead a team. And I tell you what, the team looks a lot better with Com Knipple running the show. Are we having internet issues here? I think we are.
We're having StreamYard issues.
I was like, we are lagging hard. Haize just froze on us.
It's very heavy, bro. Very heavy. I think we're back good now. We back good?
Are we good? Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know.
So okay, what about the Dunleavy part? You said about Myers. How you feel about Dunleavy?
Dunleavy to me is, I haven't seen him do anything that I would feel confident about. Right? Like with Dunleavy, you look at the James Wiseman. We really talk about that. You look at the why am I blanking on his name? Jonathan Kuminga situation. That was handled very AK-like.
Very much so.
That was handled in a way where you could have gotten first round draft capital that was high capital. People wanted to have Jonathan Kuminga on the team. You could have fleeced some teams because it looks like Kuminga's not very good and that Steve Kerr was right the entire time. And you didn't take advantage of that? Why? What was the reason? You trying to punish him? Because you ended up punishing your team and the future capital, if anything.
I don't know. He looks pretty good in Atlanta now, so I don't know if Kerr was right.
Does
on that. He does look good.
I watched a lot of Hawks games, bro. He do not look good, bro. Oh, I got to push back. Jonathan Kuminga looks terrible.
Kuminga looks good.
Terrible. He had one hot game that everybody is remembering. Jonathan Kuminga has not had an impactful game for that team.
You don't think Jonathan Kuminga has had an impactful?
He has not had a game where I'm sitting there going, "Oh yeah, it makes sense why the Warriors shouldn't have got rid of him."
But he looks more like the Warriors weren't playing him at all. He does look like he can actually contribute to the team. Like he's only averaging 12 points, but he's shooting the ball effectively, 45% from three, 48% from the field overall. He's averaging almost a steal per game. Like, it's not terrible. Like with the Golden State Warriors, he just didn't fit the flow of the offense that they wanted to run.
And you know what he don't fit in Atlanta? The flow of the offense. He literally comes in the game, says, "Give me the ball," goes out there and tries the, one-on-one, which is his game. We said that's his game. But that don't fit with how they're trying to run the game there. Jonathan Kuminga has had a couple of nice flash games where he's been very efficient. I think he's had a couple of 15+ point games. But outside of that,
only played 13 games there too. So
yeah, but outside of that, it's like he don't look like he fit there either.
They did get rid of a dominant on-ball scorer and got another dominant on-ball scorer. So
it's literally like when Kuminga comes in, it's like, well, give him the ball, I guess. We traded for him. We got to give him the ball. Let him go one-on-one. Like, if that's the kind of player you want, fine. It don't make sense for the type of team that the Hawks have become.
Yeah.
Like, with Jalen Johnson and them out there, I don't need a one-on-one player. I need somebody that can play in the system. He looks like a dude that can't play in the system. But hey, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page.
We didn't even get to replacements for Billy Donovan. I guess we'll catch that up on next episode. So
the lag is going crazy. I don't know what's happening.
Is it still going crazy?
Yeah.
It looks good on my side. Okay, cool.
Hey man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Make sure you guys go to lockedonbulls.supercast.com to sign up for the Everyday Club, where you get exclusive access to the Locked On Discord. You can chat with anyone there, but also the Locked On Bulls room specifically in that Discord. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, and Fubo TV. Basically, anywhere you want us, you can get it. Catch you guys bright and early tomorrow, y'all. Hopefully, no lag. We'll see about that.
I don't know.
Y'all.